All right, guys, Biggs, we're back. We've still been working. This has been like a 2-day thing trying to get this all up to speed. We got the one wall. We got the back wall fully done. All the branches are all fully integrated. Everything's nice and solid. I got my daughter, Rylee, finally downstairs. It's their premiere. She's stoked. She's excited to get involved in this project. She's growing plants up in her room. Oh, we're going to be doing some big things with Rylee. And she's coming down here and she's going to help me. We're going to try and figure out, piece out the last wall as to what we got to work with, how we're going to make it work to get it ready for foam. And now we're going to do a nice little quick little time lapse for you guys on the last wall of foam. The third side is same as the other two. We just want to quickly get a nice clean layout that we like with lots of planting surfaces. The one on the bottom there, that bigger, higher one there, that's actually almost is a round, so it actually looks like a plant pot from above. And then we go and foam it all in, and then we let it cure. But the focus of this video is basically finishing it. So after it's all cured, we go and chip it away, clean it all up, get it ready for eco-earth. Alright guys, Rylee and me have done a lot of work on this project. It's all ready, the foam's all done, the foam's all cured, the foam's all carved. The next step is the messy step. So we've got gloves because it's going to be really messy. Now a lot of people use silicone. We're going to use silicone in certain areas, such as areas here in the glass where there's no extra foam there, and we got a couple of little areas up top where it's just exposed. We're going to use silicone for that. And then in the other areas on the actual foam itself, it'll last longer, is we're actually going to be using polyurethane glue. Now, if you've never used polyurethane glue, it's actually really, really fun. I build a lot of big aquariums using polyurethane glue. It actually has similar properties to the expanding foam. So trying to apply the polyurethane glue is going to be like working with corn syrup. You're going to be applying a little bit and then spreading it around with your fingers or a brush or something like that. And then to activate it, you just mist it with some water. Doesn't mean hot water, cold water, doesn't matter. Just mist it with a little bit of water, and then your product will stick better to it. And it actually has a chemical reaction in it, and it'll actually do a little bit of that foaming that'll hold that product better. Silicone eventually over a long, long time will give out. So what we're going to be using for that though, is I have a bucket here. This is all tree fern fiber mixed in with a bit of eco-earth. Eco-earth is you can buy it in the compressed bricks, which you've then got to moisten down to make them nice and loose, or you can also buy it by Zoomed. They make it in a loose format as well. And it's basically a nice stable soil type product, and that'll cover up all the black of the foam and make this look like a real jungle wall. So let's get started. So as mentioned, I started out with polyurethane glue. You have to apply it, and it's not easy to apply, but you have to apply it, and then you have to activate it using a little bit of water. Then you take your media that you activate with a little bit of water and you apply it. And the foam will start to kind of come, and it better adheres to the cocoa fiber. Problem being is it didn't work very, very well for me, and it started kind of bleeding through. So in dealing with the time constraints, I opted to go back and start using silicone. Silicone is easy, it goes on, it applies very quickly, it spreads very easily, and it takes the media very well. Now Rylee was instrumental in every aspect of doing this build, but she really didn't like the smell of the silicone. Putting her head inside the terrarium to be applying the cocoa fiber and the tree fern, she was not a big fan of that, but she was a trooper, and she carried on. Here's a bit more slowed down version of just applying the silicone. It's just applied just directly to the foam. If you get a little bit on the cork or any of the logs, it's no problem. Any of the stuff will adhere to it. Just spread it liberally. Unlike the foam, this does not expand, or the polyurethane glue. So just spread it liberally, and then follow it up with a brush. These are just little disposable brushes, little paint brushes that I bought from the dollar store. If the bristles are too long and flimsy, I just cut them back so they become a little bit more rigid and more stiff, and they seem to work very, very well for me. And after each day of doing any build, I would just toss the brush. You buy them in often little packs of 5 for $1. And they worked very, very well for this purpose. I kind of tamped it in to make sure that all the surfaces of the foam, he applied the silicone. I did the same thing when I was using the polyurethane glue, as you saw in the video, but the silicone was just easier to work with.
Once you're happy that it's spread evenly, now you can apply the tree fern and cocoa fiber or peat moss. Lots of different types of medias you could use. It's just something that's going to be basically somewhat inert, long-lasting, and doesn't affect the water chemistry. Some people have used peat, and in an environment like this, peat moss would work fine as well, but it will soften the water, it'll acidify the vivarium. Eco earth or coconut fiber is extremely long-lasting, and it's inert. Tree fern the same. It's important that once you have placed the eco earth or tree fern onto the silicone, is that you tamp it into place. You want to make sure that it actually is pressed into the silicone so it actually becomes a good sealed layer. This will make it last a lot longer. Because you got to remember, there's going to be different types of tropical plants and vines that are going to grow up these structures, and their roots are going to work their way into some of these things. So you want to make sure that, down the road, 6 months, a year down the road, that these vines aren't going to pull all this stuff off the wall. Take your time. You really, honestly, you can't screw this up because it's easily covered. You're just basically concealing all the gaps and spaces in between the wall and blending the whole wall together as one piece. This is Rylee helping me out. She was exceptionally good at doing the exceptionally gifted with her smaller hands and getting into tighter spaces. There's that flower pot I was talking about. That's on the left bottom side. And any of the eco earth or stuff that falls off is just reused. She really didn't like that smell of that silicone, but she helped me right from start to finish. It's a messy job. There's a lot of garbage. But here's the final result. And wow, are we ever impressed. It was so much fun to do this with her. And the next step is going to be the planting phase. Rylee's going to be involved with all that just as well. The plants arrive later this week, so we couldn't have finished sooner. As always, thank you for watching, guys. Take care.